Welcome to the Ask EMBN Tech Show. This is the show where we get your questions and attempt to answer them in detail. Got a bang this week, manual versus battery-powered shifting. Now, before we get started on battery versus manual shifting, a question here from...
Joseph RH4 of. I was wondering if there are any good trackers for e-bikes.
What a fantastic question.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you've got the likes of Bosch and Grape. They've got, they've got integrated tracking. Actually, on the Grape bike, they've got cameras, onboard cameras as well. They can see where your bike is all the time. That
really steps it up. That changes the game a little bit.
Yeah, but it's really important, isn't it, really? Because a lot of these bikes are, they're not inexpensive for sure. You've done a video on security, haven't you?
I have. I've just done a video.
You're the man.
This is this question fires to me. And again, I think there's a whole host of different options. We talked about the onboard trackers from Bosch and Grape, and there's a few others to without mentioning them. But I think it's interesting to see. Most people steer towards your Apple AirTag. It's a great system. It's awesome. But if you've read online, there's a lot of pitfalls with potential things going wrong. And we're talking about e-mountain bikes, right? So surely we should do something e-mountain bike specific. And I think, there's the Nog Scout, which essentially runs on the same system, but it's got an alarm, it's got a whole load of other features. It's a great tracker, and it bolts on without normal Allen keys, so you can't just take it off as and when. So an awesome tool. But there's also like the likes of the Anoxia system, which, you get your car and you get your external display, so if you haven't got a screen on there, you've got an older vehicle, you can put your Apple CarPlay on there. You may not have seen it. Probably not, no. You got it built in. But essentially, Anoxia have made what Bosch and Grape do in a form that's available for, any e-bike on the market. So Anoxia bike tracker, the Bosch smart lock system, Grape's own internal one, and I'd say the Nog Scout are probably your best bets.
Yeah. Actually, folks, if you've got any top tips on any security-related topics, please hashtag Ask EMBN Tech, and so everybody else can get involved in the discussion.
Yeah.
Our next topic is the big one. This is actually from Pablo Skobike 469. Does anyone actually want electronic shifting? Seems like just another thing to go wrong when the power runs out, and something in a vulnerable place that is more expensive to replace.
Well,
whoa, this is a
big question. I can agree in your hesitation, shall we say? Because I think it is something, especially from a mechanics background. I can fix a cable-operated rear derailleur no matter really what goes wrong on the trail. I can get back, whether it be a bodge to go single speed or whether it be being able to fix a cable enough to work. Electronics, that's not my specialty. But
okay, well look, let's reel it back a second. So, what have we actually got in terms of electronic or battery-powered shifting, shall we call it? So we've got two options, or two main options.
Yeah.
SRAM axis or Shimano Di2.
Yes.
Obviously quite different, especially in terms of the actual shifters themselves.
The physical tactile feel.
Yeah, so the SRAM shifter is quite, obviously it comes in different versions. It's quite different to the Di2, which is more of you can actually get it as a trigger operated setup, can't you?
Yeah,
there's a difference already. I think the question is, does it actually offer a technological or performance advantage by having electronic battery powered shifting? I think in reply to Shimano, you obviously got the option of tuning into auto shift and free shift.
Yeah,
so there is a performance advantage by having that.
And just to add to this point,
right,
because Shimano's Di2 system is wired, it in fact reduces the time it takes to shift. So it's a quicker shift because of that direct power.
Yeah, I think the SRAM shifting, there's no doubt that the SRAM shifting is apparently it's meant to shift faster. The thing is, there's two different things here, because the older SRAM axis and the new T-type both run electronic. The T-type actually, it doesn't shift as fast as the old axis.
No, but the performance benefit through that, in theory.
The performance benefit is said to be that it can shift under load. The thing is, Shimano can shift under load as well. I think what I'd like to pick up on, Pablo, is the fact when you shift on electronic gears, because they're quite fine, aren't they? They're quite light on the touch. I think most of the time, 80% of the time, you can shift easily and you know where you are. When you're in a lot of rocks and there's a lot going on and you hit the electronic, because it's so fine, you think, did it actually shift? And because it actually puts a bit of doubt into your mind, because when you've got a good lever and you go clunk or click, whatever, you know that it's happened. And it only applies to kind of uphill situations, but I think I actually prefer the manual in that regard.
Yeah, I think there's a big strong point to it. But again, we need to go back and forth. We need to think of the other side. The benefits of having those shifters don't just go to the tactile feel. There's other elements that you can add to it. And so, for example, the SRAM shifter, you can mix and match. You can change it. There's aftermarket companies like Zverbal, the Swiss company, where you can have a little ring magnetic shifter. It does work for Di2 as well, but it allows a bit more freedom as far as modular, I'd say, or customization. You can mix and match it, whilst you couldn't really use a SRAM shifter with a Shimano derailleur, could you? You still can't with electric.
Yeah. Do you know what? We actually had a discussion in the back of the van as we were driving 9 hours to Scotland, amongst all of us, and we had a discussion, do you need electronic shifting? And most of the 4 people in the van said, no, you don't need it.
Need is the key word there.
So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, is that the thing with electronic battery-operated shifting is said to have lower maintenance. For me, trying to find the lead to charge the battery on a SRAM system, it does my head in. Where is it? The cat has chased it under the sofa. I lose them all the time.
Don't have cats.
I love my cats. I love my cats. So to me, it's not actually, it's more maintenance in that respect. But what I really do like about electronic shifting is you've got the shifter and the derailleur, and you can just bolt them onto the bike.
And it's pretty much good to go.
And it's good to go.
Yeah.
That I really, really like that a lot.
Yeah, and I think
it depends how many times you're bolting derailleurs onto your bike.
And maybe we haven't even talked about the adjustment side of things to some degree. You're far less likely to be able to smash your derailleur into your spokes if it's electronic.
That is my stomach, by the way.
Oh, I heard that clearly. I think the arguments go strongly either way, but it depends what angle you're looking from it. I'd also say, this is speculation, shoot me down if I'm wrong, I don't think we'll be seeing a lot of mechanical drive chain systems in the next 5 years. I think in the next 5 years, every e-bike, mountain bike, anything will be electronic in some way.
No chance.
This is in video.
I hope not, because we've talked about the performance side of things. What about the cost? We were at Canyon a few days ago looking at different price point bikes. The Canyon CF9 comes with battery-operated gears. The thing is, my point is that, 6 months, a year down the line, when you've broken a cassette or a derailleur and you need to replace that, the cost, there's quite a significant cost difference between replacing electronic shifting to replacing manual shifting. Like, for example, derailleur is going to, Axis derailleur or Di2 derailleur is going to cost a lot more than, say, a link glide one is.
And you save a minimal amount of cost without having to replace cables, right? you probably add it back on with the cost of electricity.
I can't remember the last time I replaced a cable on a bike.
That's you.
I think they're so bloody good these days. Cables are great. I love the click. Folks, that was quite lengthy, wasn't it? Let's know your thoughts of electronic versus manual shifting. Next question, Adam.
For you, what is the maximum height? For you, I'm turning it on you. What is the maximum height I can drop a trail bike with 120mm back and 120mm front without breaking it? So I assume he means a drop off, and that is from Rebels. I
thought you meant chucking it out the window.
Rebels Bike Shed Bikes Hike Bike 2169. That's
not a question for me in the slightest.
We can answer it together.
I mean, I guess it depends on the transition. It depends on the shape of the. I mean, you can BMXers ride bikes with no suspension.
Yeah, and I don't think there's one correct or wrong answer. I think it comes down to brand and their categorization. So, for example,
just be careful.
Be careful, but you can rip. So, I mean, for example, Canyon use a grading system from category 1 up until 5.
See where you're going.
So this actually does state the max distance and height that they are
Really?
tested to. Yeah.
Whoa.
So, funnily enough, Category 2 bikes, which are 120mm travel at the Neuron or even the Lux, are dropped up to 15 centimetres.
Did not know that.
So
did not know that.
There you go. You
Wow.
learn something new every day. But again, it's
I'm still not buying
it's-
electronic shifting.
You're not?
No.
All right, give it here. Well, yeah, we'll see. But the thing is, as well, you've got to consider geometry. So, you know, a XC bike, which is going to be a steeper geometry, is going to kind of steer you into the mindset of it. Maybe it's not as capable to do some of those bigger drops. While something's a bit slacker, we talk about down country bikes. They're going to be a little bit burlier because of their intention.
Did you just say down country?
Yeah, I'll leave.
There's
That's
the
me.
door.
I'm going
There's the
now. Aggressive short travel bikes. There you go.
Right, I think we get the message.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's move on to the next question. This is from Sir K120. Any bikes better spec than the Decathlon Stylus AM 29 under £4,000?
Well,
Adam,
yes.
you're the man on this.
I've done a video, and it's honestly, it's great to see the actually amount of good mid-drive e-bikes you can
Actually,
get under 4K.
what am I talking about? Sorry. Of course, I've ridden the Giant overnight. The Giant Stance E. What an amazing bike. 120mm travel.
Yeah.
Actually, that's related to the previous question. I'd happily jump the 120 Giant Stance, but I'd probably the Vitus E-Mythique 170mm travel. That's another bike we can get under £4,000. Actually, there's two great examples there, aren't there?
So the thing with the Giant is it's running a 144 cut front, and the geometry is
Banging. It's banging.
banging. There
Banging.
you go, from the man himself.
And
Banging,
actually-
but it's slightly slacker than, say, a normal 120
So
bike.
there's two good examples for you, but let's chuck another one in. There's the 130mm Canyon Neuron on as well.
Which is a burly, aggressive, short travel bike, and I can't speak better of it, but that's 3,649. So again, great price. The Vitus E-Mythique comes in around 3,299 up to about 4,000. So you've got three different options there. That's a great spec, great suspension design, great frame design. And then the Giant Stance E+2, or the other E+ model, within that range, is £3,500.
Yeah. Adam, one final question. This is from Forbidden Colossus. Bosch software prevents the owner from de-restriction. Does that include the aftermarket dongles?
Yes, it does. It does, unfortunately, as far as I'm aware, unless there's a new one that they've made or whatever it might be. But essentially, the way I see it is it's got a black box system. It has a heart and soul that really gives you actual data rather than maybe what it's tricking your display to say or whatever. It will notice irregularities. And by that standard, it's very, very smart. It's going to do that limp mode, like we said with Bosch,
Okay, well, let's leave you with this bombshell to finish this week's Ask EMN Tech. Do you think that we should be looking for campaigning for a 30 kilometre per hour limiter on e-bikes instead of 25k? Same as they've got in the US. Did I say that? I did just say it. It's just like, we don't think de-restricting bikes is very cool simply because the differential in speed on trails.
It's the implications.
Going past people at 40, 50k is not cool. But maybe 30, maybe we should be...
But I think you're tarnishing it all with the same brush. You're looking at it in the same blanket. E-bikes aren't just e-bikes. You've got gravel, you've got road, you've got mountain bikes. I think when you're talking as a blanket statement, yeah, why not?
Oh, these guys.
Yeah, we want to hear from you guys. I think I know what the consensus is.
Folks, let's know your thoughts on that. And remember to send us the comments, #AskEMBNTech, and we'll see you in a few weeks' time.